right, welcome everyone. Looks like we got a bunch of people watching already. This is Sprint Car Hub Live, and I'm sorry that we're a day late, all because Brock Zearfoss was sick yesterday, which we'll talk to him about in a minute. We're going to go through a bunch of things with Brock, thoughts on his 2024 season, why he's leaving the Outlaws, and was it a tough decision? What's he going to do now? All about his new ride, crew chief, and obviously preview what's going to be a massive month or two here of racing that he's going to be part of. So I really appreciate Brock joining us. He's a super cool dude and been very good to me. And we've got some onboard footage to watch while we talk as well. So hopefully you guys enjoy it all. I'll also, once we let Brock go, we will we'll make sure, we'll read some comments before Brock goes and answer some questions. Anything you guys want to ask, if it's appropriate, we'll talk to him about that and make sure he answers all your questions. I'm not sure if he's done one of these before, so it'll be cool to for you guys to ask him some questions. Really down to earth dude and very relaxed, and I'm not surprised that he was happy to do this. When he had to tell me yesterday that he was sick and couldn't do it, I think he felt like he let us down. But no, we're all good, and looking forward to doing this tonight. And then once Brock goes, where I'm going to stay on for a little bit and maybe answer some of your questions. We did a Q&A yesterday where on our Instagram where I answered a lot of questions, and you guys had a lot that I didn't even get to. So I'll stick around for a little bit. Just before we get into it, our latest merchandise, just like this shirt here and this hat here, this is my favorite hat, very subtle, is over on sprintcarhub.com. You can see on the ticker down the bottom there, sprintcarhub.com, to grab your merchandise. If you order something while we go live, I'll try and make sure that we give you guys a shout out. We've got wing panels, shirts. We've got some more stuff coming very soon as well. Obviously new hats, the gray hat that's been really popular already. Some glasses and all kinds of things. So looking forward to seeing everyone wear that as we travel around. We've got a lot of races that we're traveling to very soon. So looking forward to doing all of that. But yeah, if you guys have questions, make sure you keep them for when we do ask for them at the end of our chat, and then and we'll get stuck into them. But for now, we're going to throw to an ad, and then we'll have Brock on. There he is. He's having a drink. How are you, man?
What's going on? Just getting over this, whatever this was, this illness of some sort, but we're here.
Yeah, let's get into it. What was wrong with you yesterday?
But I don't even know. I mean, I was good the whole flight. Got here, went and practiced, was good. And then about 4:30 in the morning yesterday, I was just sicker than a dog. Just couldn't go to sleep, just puking and a bunch of other stuff going on. So I was just trying to get better. And I don't know if it was some kind of food poisoning or just a bug or what, but we're a lot better today. Still kind of off just a little bit, but good enough to be here with you, buddy.
No, you're good. Thanks, man. Thanks so much for doing this. It's pretty cool to have I guess a former outlaw driver now to join us for this sort of thing. How come you come so early to Australia? I know a lot of guys don't fly in till, for another few days.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Sean just likes to get, kind of get me here and just get on the time and just to be able to relax. He understands how stressful my season is at home. And I think he just kind of uses it for me to get where I need to be here and get over the jet lag if there is any, and just kind of get in the shop and just get familiar with everything again. So, I mean, it's really only, I guess, technically a week early, but at the end of the day, there's still a lot of work to do. Sean, this isn't Sean's full-time job, and Brenton and Kim and all the guys, they don't, they all work full-time jobs too. So they live farther away than it is for me to walk out into the shed. So it's just nice to get out, get here, just kind of get out and get familiar with the car again and familiar where everything is. And and just kind of relax.
Yeah, of course. I remember you telling me when we were actually this footage we're watching is from your, I think, heat race at BAPS, by the way, back in
Oh
July or something. So
yeah. Yep.
we're gonna watch that. But I remember you telling me one night that you actually fly. So, like for example, when from Sydney we fly to the States, maybe to Dallas or to the West Coast, you actually fly the other way around, right?
Yeah, yeah. Normally, well, this trip was actually a little different, but normally I leave JFK and fly up over into Singapore, and then Singapore straight to Perth. So it's one 18.5 hour flight and one 5 hour flight. But this time, I guess a lot of people wanted to go to Singapore at this time, so we couldn't get one of them flights, but we ended up going to Hong Kong and over to Perth. So it's 16-hour flight and an 8 hour flight, but nonetheless, I mean, it doesn't matter where you go; it's still long. It's just I don't really mind doing it this way, just because it's one connector and you're there. So,
Yeah.
for me to leave Pennsylvania, it would be have to fly to Dallas, to Sydney, to Perth. So there's two connectors, or sometimes maybe three, depending on where you have to go. But yeah, I feel like it's just easier, and it's kind of less of a headache to where you might not get your luggage lost. But I talked to you about that earlier. My stuff got left in Hong Kong, so was a little stressful. I guess we got in at midnight Wednesday morning, and was supposed to practice Wednesday night. So we needed to make sure that we got our stuff on the first flight from Hong Kong, and got my stuff at noontime. So it was not a big deal, but it's always one of them deals where you got to stress about it a little bit.
You've done a few of these trips now. How did you get hooked up with Sean, and how many trips have you done now?
Yeah, it's kind of a not a weird story, but Sean's been out of it. He was out of it for a long time. I think 5, 6, 7 years, and it was right around COVID time when everything was getting shut down. And Litton
Yeah.
Jeffrey called me out of the blue and just asked if I ever could go race in Australia, would I want to do it? And I was like, well, yeah. I mean, I've always wanted to. I just never
Yeah.
knew, the networking side, how to, who to talk to, where, what to do. And he said if he could find something, if I would do it. And I said, absolutely. Um, so actually, the story goes, they asked Sean first, and he said no, and he wasn't sure if he wanted to get into it. And so we asked around. We actually went through three people before we went back to Sean. So I actually had two rides, and they backed out. And then they asked Sean one more time, and he's like, "Well, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right." So he didn't really have much of anything that was capable of racing. He had some show cars and stuff, but nothing that was going to be able to withstand what the racing is today. And much less
Yeah.
have a motor. So um, he didn't even know who I was. I never even talked to Sean, and it was Thanksgiving night. It was Thanksgiving night, and he called me for the first time. I talked to him for maybe, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, and he's like, okay. He's like, let me see what I can do here. If I can get a motor and stuff together, we'll do it. So he called me about an hour later. He said, all right, we're gonna do it, and I
Wow.
left December 7th. So not
Oh,
much
wow.
longer after that. Yeah. So well, that was COVID time, so I had to actually quarantine for 2 weeks
Yeah.
in a hotel over here. So we needed to get over as soon as possible to get that over with. And yeah, it was a little hectic. I mean, not many days. I had to sort a visa. I had to get a grant from the government. I had to get invitations. I had to do all kinds of stuff all in a week and a half or whatever it was. So it was a little tight, but we made it. The 14 days in a hotel room was I made it till about day 10, and I was about ready to kill somebody.
Yeah.
Um, I kept saying it was worse than prison, because at least they get an hour outside to get fresh air. I was stuck in a room for 24 hours a day. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so that's pretty much how it worked out with Sean, and been coming ever since. So thankful for Sean and Dot and everybody, the whole family. They've welcomed me right from the beginning as basically one of their own, and I couldn't be more thankful or grateful to have car owners like they are.
Yeah, I was going to say you must be part of the family. So obviously you had practice only 2 nights ago. That all went well.
Yeah, it was all good. It was just like any other night. I mean, we just wanted to shake the car down. We only ran 2 sessions.
Okay.
I felt like we were pretty comfortable and we were, right where we needed to be, pretty close. So we just want to make sure the motor ran good. Um, we're definitely off to a better start than where we were last year. Last year we hurt 2 motors in 20 minutes on a
Oh,
practice night, so it was
oh
not a
no.
good year last year. It was
Yeah.
pretty hectic, but there's a lot of good people that stepped up. Like John Weatherall lent us a motor, and Sean ended up purchasing another a motor or two. So it was definitely an expensive year for Sean, but Blue Water Shipping really helped us out getting motors back and forth from the East Coast, and there was
Yeah.
a lot of stuff going on. But yeah, it was all right before the Speed Week even started, so
Jeez.
we were kind of scrambling.
What let's get into your 2024 season. Obviously, you've run a few years with the Outlaws now. How do you reflect on the 2024 season?
Obviously subpar. I mean, I know a lot of people can sit back and judge on how our performances are, but they don't really know exactly what's going on internally. And
Yeah.
we got rid of our crew chief in May, I think it was, and I was just kind of making the calls on my own from May through the end of the season, and
Hmm.
it's tough. I don't
Yeah.
think that I feel like that era is gone in racing on a national tour. I don't think it's as easy as it
Yeah.
used to be, and it wasn't easy before. But I don't think that you can do it anymore. I think it's a matter of you have to focus 110% on your craft, and um,
Yeah.
you know trying to make the calls on your car. It takes away from that, and we struggled a little bit, but it's we didn't. It wasn't for a lack of effort. Mike and Matt, they worked their ass off all year long, and
Hmm.
we worked together. We stuck together. We believed in each other, and we got a lot better from May on. We just had some stupid luck and some engine issues, and that's just things that you can't have on the tours. So we
Yeah.
were fortunate to have an opportunity to bring Jim Shuttlesworth on here at the end of the year and kind of help us out. And it's the right direction that we needed it to go. I've worked with Jim before, and I have a lot of confidence and faith in Jim, and he takes a lot of pressure off my shoulders, and we understand each other. So we worked together before, and we were very successful. And I don't think that's going to be a doubt in anybody's mind here going into next year. I mean, we only raced 4 races together, and we won a race here already. So,
Yeah. Perhaps.
we kind of picked up where we left off when we first separated when I went on the road in 2018. So,
Yeah.
I think, I mean, for me, obviously, I want to win and be successful in what we do. And I would look at it as a subpar season, but I guess we've still improved on our year before, I believe, and it takes time, but I also say it's hard to build your racing program and build things while you're racing against the best in the world 85 times a night or 85 times a year, and
Mm.
their stuff's already established, and we're just trying to kind of groom ours to where it needs to be. So we're already behind the 8 ball, and we're trying to do that, and it's just things that you can't have. So uh, that's just the way our cards have fallen, and it's not. I don't regret any decision that we've done or made. I'm thankful for everything we've done. So it's made me a better driver, smarter. It brought our team closer together. So I'm excited
Yeah.
for the years to come.
Yeah, it's I remember being over there with you and spending some time in your trailer and chatting with you, and I couldn't believe that you're doing it sort of not like not just the way you're doing it, but like just without a crew chief, simply like to do that amount of racing. I mean, everyone around you, those full-time guys have established crew chiefs and really have every piece of the puzzle sort of laid out, and for you to have to do that on your own is tough. Is that obviously you've got a new crew chief in Jim, and is him coming on board? Does that mean you had to leave the Outlaws, or how did that decision really come about?
I think it was, we've talked about maybe just coming off the tour and just, running a pick and choose schedule like we're gonna do, and just try to get going again, get in the right spots where we need to be, and just win some races and get some confidence back. And
Yeah,
I think Jim coming on made that decision a little easier. Um, but it doesn't mean that we're going to be at home all the time. I still want to go out and travel some. I still want to go to the big races, and I feel like we
sure.
should be at the big races. I feel like our car is capable of doing it. We haven't had the right pieces in place for the last three years. So I feel like
Yeah,
right now our team is in probably the best spot it's been in a while. Our engine program's getting better. With Jim coming on board, I feel like that's just a big boost for our whole team. And we all believe in each other, and we believe in the vision that we're going towards. And I really think next year is going to be really good. But it's been kind of hard to sit at home or sit out on the road, whether it's raining out or you're racing for 12,000 or 20,000 when you could be racing for 75 or something like that an hour from your home. So
yeah.
it's kind of gotten a little harder. Um, you know, I obviously I'm not a big fan of the West Coast swing, just
Why?
because it's just far. It's just that way out there. It's super
Uh-huh.
expensive. Obviously with our being a family team, you got to pay attention to the expenses a lot more, and it literally doubles your cost just to go out there for that month. So,
The
fortunately
the cost of
we're able
the entire year, you mean? It doubles
just
just
like
on
not
with
just
that
your
trip?
normal travel cost.
Oh, got
Everything's
you. Sorry.
doubled.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but you're also on the other end of the country. And, when you leave there, you have to drive all the way back east.
Sure.
it's just not, I'm just not a fan of it. I mean, it just, you're already wore out. And, like I said, it's just super expensive to go out there. It's different kind of racing. Some people
Uh-huh.
might say that, just because I don't like, I'm not good out there or whatever. But I feel like we've been we haven't been great, but we've gotten better the years that we went out there. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know. There's just things like that kind of wear you out, where, like I said, it's just, it might be different if I didn't drive the truck or anything like that, but, I helped drive the truck, and, we want to make it back to Ohio before, it's time to race. So we still have stuff to work on and all that stuff. And, yeah, I mean, it wears you out. So I think change will be good here. I think being home more will be good for me, just to kind of focus on driving again and get confidence
Yeah.
back. With Jim being there, and uh, yeah, I'm excited to race with Rich Eichelberger. That deal just kind of came about in a week, and Rich
Wow.
is a really good dude. He's a legend in the sport. He's been around for a long time,
Yeah.
and he's a great car owner. So he uh, he's going to be really fun to race with, and hopefully we can be successful with him.
You spoke just before about getting off the tour and trying to build your confidence back up. Can you talk about like you need to be confident as a sprint car driver or any athlete competing? Um, I'm sure you've learnt a lot with the Outlaws too, and you feel like you're a better driver for it. I'm sure, right? But at the same time, getting beat or being happy with just a top 5 or a top 10. I mean, you're an outlaw winner, dude. Like you've done some cool shit. Like there's not many people that can say they've done that, especially multiple times. But obviously the success has been few and far between them, a lot rarer than what you would like. What have you learned and how do you feel like you can go in more confidently now that you're off the tour, you can attack races, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we've won outlaw races before, but the one race was at our home track at Williams Grove, and one was at Cedar Lake. But Cedar Lake, everything went perfect, and
Sure.
having them nights are few and far in between.
Yeah.
It's just one of them kind of unicorn nights. But I don't know. I feel like just being able to get confidence. It's not so much that I don't have confidence. Obviously I have the belief in my ability, and I know what I can do. I know what our team can do, but
Mhm.
it's just I'll use Hopstock for example. Hopstad, I haven't been comfortable in 4 years there, and it's already written off in my mind before we get there. Now, obviously, I feel
Yeah.
like we've gotten better. It's not that we don't work hard at it, but it's just that confidence level that you're going to a racetrack you're not comfortable at, and I think you're just trying to get the night over whether than you're trying to win.
Yeah.
But I think it comes down to trying to figure it out on your own too. It's hard to explain what you feel like there because your car doesn't ever feel right. But then it's even
Yeah.
harder when you're trying to explain it to yourself and figure it out yourself. So it's
Yeah.
it's just not easy. But I mean, I feel like the confidence level there is, you can go to places, you can skip those races. You don't have to go to them races because you're forced to with the tour. And
Sure.
I think you can just race for more money. If
Yeah.
it's not looking good in Pennsylvania, we might go to Knoxville over the weekend or something, and that just gives you a little more freedom. And don't get me wrong, I love racing with the Outlaws. I enjoyed it my 4 years, and I don't think this is the end. I feel like I
Yeah.
still can compete out there, and I can still win races on the Outlaw level. It's just I feel like it needs to be the right situation, and we're working towards that. But I feel like this is the right move right now for us as a team and
Yeah.
myself as a driver to make this swap to run a true outlaw schedule and win some races and just kind of be home for a little bit and relax.
You're keeping your own gear, right? The 3Z stuff. We were just talking off camera before we got started. How many races do you expect to do next year?
So I'm actually probably going to race more than what I did on tour, but the only difference is I think 75% of them are within an hour and a half of my house. So
Wow, that's ridiculous.
Pennsylvania is crazy. You can run
Yeah.
75, 80 races, within a 200-mile area. So it's
Yeah.
uh it's definitely a special area for sprint car racing. But
Yeah.
um, I plan on running about 45 shows in Rich's car. We're going to focus on Williams Grove and Port Royal in his car, and then I still have about 60 races in our own cars. So it's not that we're just parking our car and just running Rich's. I still want to go racing, and that counts as like Florida or nationals, and I still want to
Uh-huh.
go to Houston's if we're running good, and Kings Royal obviously, and races like that. So yeah, we're not racing less. We're actually racing more, but I'll be in my own bed a lot more. So it actually will cut down
Yeah.
the travel costs.
What will you miss about the Outlaws?
I think just driving up and down the road with everybody. I mean, it really is
It's
like
like a
one big
family, right?
family. It's
Yeah.
like one big family. I mean, you obviously have your little niche groups, and these people hang out with these people and these guys. But
Yeah.
still at the end of the day, um, if you need something from somebody, they're there to help you. So we're all
Yeah.
out there trying to do the same thing and make a living, and they understand that if you don't get out or you don't finish the race, that hurts you guys. And we all
Yeah.
everybody tried to look out for each other out there. So
Mhm.
yeah, I'm gonna miss probably the people more than anything. It's not that I'm not gonna ever see them again, but when you're going up and down the road and you see everybody, 90 times a year, they become kind of like a family. So I'm still excited to get racing at home, but I'll be excited to get out and run on the road there a few times and kind of get back to what we were doing there. But it's kind of weird because you feel like if you race at home your whole life and then you change, like when I changed up and went on the road, it was like a big shell shock kind of culture change for me.
Yeah.
But now it's going to be the same thing going home again. So it's like I'm used to only being home for a week at a time, and then I'm back out for 2, 3, 4 months. So
Yeah.
it's
Wow.
yeah, it's going to be a little different. It'll be a little different getting used to being home again. I think it'll be a little better just because I don't have to cram so much stuff in a week trying to visit people and get stuff done. I'll have more time to do all that stuff, but definitely be a little bit of a change again.
You said about like everyone kind of gets in their own little groups, I guess, when you travel, friends groups, which is pretty normal. Who did you get close with when you were with the Outlaws?
I mean, I never really had kind of a group. We just kind of did our own thing.
Uh-huh.
When Noisy came out with us when we first went out on the tour in 21, you know, he kind of had his own little areas that he went to, and we just kind of stuck with that. But
Uh-huh.
you know, we got along with pretty much everybody, but we never really made it a point to, you know, if let's just say Geo's guys are staying here, then that's where we got to stay. You know what I mean? But
Sure.
um, realistically, at the end of the day, there's not many hotels that can accommodate semi parking that are actually decent lots or decent hotels. So you normally
Yeah.
end up close to the same area as everybody else, and we all kind of stay in the same areas. So I guess you could say I've kind of hung out with all of them, but yeah, we just kind of did our own thing. I mean, it's not that I don't know how you would say it, like a loner or whatever, but you know, I'm just trying to get better and focus on my craft. And um, you know, at the end of the day, that's what everybody else is doing. But you know, I'm not a
Yeah.
big drinker. You know, I'm not a big nightlife guy, so it's
Hmm.
I'm never out at the bar with them guys. We're just kind of doing our own thing. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, like at the end of the day, it's you know, we all end up at the same area at one point, and you know, I always got along with everybody. So I guess you
Yeah.
could say everybody.
Sounds like it. Yeah, it was a good few years. Let's switch gears a little bit. Let's look ahead. We've got obviously a big Australian, or what, couple of months here in Australia, and you're going to be here. Do you know? I saw one question. We're going to get into the questions pretty soon, by the way, everyone. So make sure you get your questions ready. But I did see one was, are you going to the Classic? Do you know if you're going to the Classic yet?
I don't know for sure. I think it's
Uh-huh.
gonna depend on how the speed week goes here, and then we'll make a decision. But
Sure.
I know last year we made the commitment to go, but we probably shouldn't have went. So you know, like I said, with everything that was going on for the speed week deal, and it was just we probably should have took that off. But Sean made the commitment to go there to take Danny, and so
Yep.
we honored that. So I think the plan this year is to get through the speed week, and then just kind of evaluate how our speed week's going. Obviously, if we're winning races and running good, it makes sense to go. But if we're struggling or something, you know, things are going wrong,
Yeah.
you know, we'll just have to take that this year off, and regroup. So I
Uh-huh.
think it's going to be a game time decision.
Do you know if Danny's coming? I've been asked that by a couple people now.
Danny's not going to be here this year. So yeah, just didn't work out for us, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
I know we were all excited. I was excited to have Danny.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
Do you
he
like
does
when
not.
he's with you?
Yeah, I think Danny's really good. You know, obviously he's a legend, but you know, it's
Yeah.
we work good together. You know, I thought it was good for just a couple races that he was here with us. You know, we got our car really good, and I was very
Mhm.
confident. And that's one thing that you know Jim and Danny have in common is they both raced and they both understand you know what kind of feel you need. So that's what
Uh-huh.
that's really good for me to be able to explain to them what I'm feeling and they know exactly what I'm talking about. So it makes
Yeah.
my job a little easier, it makes their job a little easier. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I wish Danny would have been here. I feel like we still have a really good chance at winning the big race. You know, but I think Danny would have put us in that little bit uh, farther forward category there. It's
Yeah.
not that you know Brent can't get the job done. I know Brent can get the job done, but you
Sure.
know just having that extra eye on the car and driving,
Yeah.
you know, I think that's huge.
So obviously, you've been here for the last few seasons, racing over in WA, but this year in particular, you can see there, 28th, 29th, and 30th. Obviously, the 100 grand to win on the final night and 12.5 grand on the other two nights. The high limit international event, there's a big deal. I've been told by a couple other people I was on the phone to today from WA, and they were saying there's a real vibe in WA. Can you feel that right now, that there's a bit of excitement of, I guess, the attention that the area is getting with sprint car racing?
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously this is a huge event. I don't know if you know it if it is or not. Is this the biggest event in Australia? Period. Is it
I I would say for a long time, I grew up with the
highest
Outlaws
paying?
coming for Down Under 20 years ago, um, and
I
that
would
was a
say
big
let
deal.
me rephrase it. Would it be the highest paying?
Oh yeah, sorry. It's definitely the next most is 50 grand. So I
Yeah, so
mean,
you're doubling what?
yeah,
Yeah, okay, so you doubled it.
yeah,
Obviously, yeah, I think there is going to be a different vibe there. Actually, I seen. I don't know if it was you that posted it today. The nominations, only 31 cars. That kind of surprised me a little bit, but
yeah,
I guess with speed weeks and stuff over on the east side, it doesn't make sense for them to travel what 40 some hours, 50 some hours, or whatever it is to come
yeah.
over here for 3 nights. Um, but I still think it's a good quality 31 quality cars.
There's depth.
It's going to
There's a
be.
lot of depth. Yeah.
I feel like this is going to be kind of close to like a nationals type vibe. I feel, just with the crowd. I feel like this is probably going to be the biggest crowd that the Motorplex has ever seen. I would think,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I think it's just going to be electric. It's going to be really cool for the Australian drivers to experience it. Obviously, we get to experience it with nationals and Kings Royal and all that stuff. But
Sure.
other aside from the classic, I feel like this is going to be just like that, if not a little bit better.
Yeah, it's I can feel that. I got to be honest, and I don't want to sound negative at all, but it just feels like right now there's a little bit of a lull where I can feel the excitement building, but I think everyone's kind of holding off a little bit. But I think come Boxing Day, things just going to blow up, and then obviously it's only going to hit another level. Come those few nights. One thing I wanted to ask you, obviously with all your experience, is what do you think of the Australian competition and the Australian sprint car racing scene? Like, what are the things that stand out to you when I mention that?
I mean, I feel like they're just as competitive as they are at home. You know, I can actually tell from just the 4 years that I've been coming, they've gotten a lot better than it was in
Yeah.
2020. I mean,
Wow.
Callum's obviously good. Jock's really good, but there's
Uh-huh.
more than just the bigger name guys. Everybody's kind of gotten better. So
Yeah.
obviously it makes my job a little harder, but yeah, I mean it's not an easy task over here to come over here and win. And
Mhm.
but we have great equipment here, and I told everybody on Wednesday that we had a really good car last year. We just didn't have luck. Now we have a good car and we have luck. So
Yeah.
um, that's a pretty potent combination to have them two together. And yeah, I mean it's not easy to win races here anymore. It's I feel like probably early on it was probably a lot easier for Donnie and them guys to come over and whoop up on them, but
Sure.
everybody's gotten better. I mean, there's a ton of money here, and the equipment. It's not nobody's slouching on equipment, so
Yeah.
they're really stepping their game up. The KRE engines over here run really good, and I feel like a lot of guys have them, and
Yeah.
everybody's just getting smarter. So everybody's working harder to compete with us, and they're doing a good job at it. So I always enjoy competition. I enjoy racing hard with everybody, and I feel like
Mhm.
the racing has been clean as well. You normally hear that Australia racing is a full contact sport, but I feel like racing here hasn't really been terrible. They kind of race here with respect, and
Mhm.
you have your moments sometimes, but that's part of racing.
Yeah, I totally get what you said there at the end. I put it down to a lot of our guys just don't have as many laps. I mean, you watch a Knoxville Nationals A main, how many yellows and wrecks do you see? Not many, because it's all guys who know how to control their cars and really respect their gear. They're proper racers, towards that end of the field. And I think, without sounding disrespectful, it's, because a lot of our guys, I mean, a big season over here would be like a huge season. You might see Jock or Brock Hallett do like 50 races, which is like we raced as much as we could and traveled as far as we could to just hit races. So I think you'll find like the majority, it's not I like what you said about being a contact sport, but it's just kind of like that sloppiness of not being fully refined, I guess. Before we get into some of the questions, so keep the questions coming through. We'll make sure we answer them. But I wanted to ask you a bit of a technical question. What do you think of the rules package we have here as far as the wings, wicker bills, tires are a huge one. Obviously, there's a lot of other differences, and it's something that I'm actually working on a video to tell everyone about the differences of the cars. What do you think about our rules package compared to what you have back home?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the big one for me is the dished wings. I feel like the dished wings should be allowed back home, but
Uh-huh.
somebody somewhere has a bone to pick with that. And to me personally, I feel like a dished wing makes the racing better. It allows you to run up behind somebody, and you're not constantly searching for clean air. You know, it just allows you to find different areas of the racetrack, and I feel like it makes the racing better. It's not a performance thing. I just think that the racing is better that way. And obviously the tires over here are way different than what we have, and
Yeah.
you guys still get to run the good left rears, and I don't know if the right rears, if they still grow or not, or if they change that. But that was always one thing that took a minute or two to get used to, but it was a good thing to get used to. Is it made the car handle a lot better than what we have at home. And
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, like there's just some things over here that make life a lot easier. And um, I wish we could run dish wings back home, like I said, and still have grow tires and good tires again. So for the amount of money that you guys pay for them and the amount of money that we pay for them, it's kind of ridiculous how bad they actually are. But I don't know. That's enough. That's all I'll say about that. But
Yeah.
I'm trying to don't want to get in trouble. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yeah.
But but so yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot. Obviously there's good things and bad things. I feel like the starting procedures here. I don't know if it's just WA. I feel like the East Coast is different, but WA's starts are a little different. But it takes a minute to get back in the groove of that. I'm used to waiting to a line to go where you might get caught sleeping on your first heat race or something because you forget that you got to wait for the steward to turn the light on. So
Right. Right.
um, it's just some different things. But I mean, listen, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what they are, if they're good or bad. It's what you got to deal with at the moment. So everybody
Yep.
that you're racing with has the same stuff going on. So it's your job to adapt to it, and I feel like that's what makes the good drivers stand out.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I appreciate that, man. That was a cool little insight to someone who's done the racing and what they think. Let's get into some of these questions because we've been going for almost 40 minutes, and I don't want to keep you forever. I'm sure you want to go get some dinner soon or something. Maybe not what you had
How
the
much I'm
other.
gonna eat?
Maybe not what Sean made you the other night. Uh,
Listen,
question.
no,
Question about the format. I wanted to bring this one up because I don't know the format, and I wanted to ask you: one, do you know the format yet for the high limit race? And two, do you know the? I know it's 100 grand to win, and I found out that it was 12 and a half on the other nights. But do you know the payout for the other nights? Like, has that been put out?
not that I know of. Yeah, I don't even know what the format is. I don't. At the end of the day, like I stopped trying to pay attention to what formats are, how much they pay, because it just becomes confusing. So
Yeah.
yeah, I can't answer that one just like you can't. But I would feel like they'd be coming out with something soon.
Yeah, I said it in I've said it in videos before. I'm like, if fans realize that the drivers and the teams, like literally throughout the night, they're like, "Oh, I ran 30 in my heat and I qualified 6," and they're like, "Oh, I'm off pole." They're like, "How's that work?" Or I'm out of 10. They're like, "I don't know." It's like if only the fans knew that the drivers and teams literally just don't even pay attention to how all that stuff works, right?
Yeah, dude. There's so much stuff going on. I don't even, half the time I don't even know where I start in a feature.
Yeah. All right. Let's have a look at some of the other questions. I'll just go through a bunch here. How much does a dish wing cost versus a flat panel wing? I'm assuming they're the same price, right?
Well, so here's where the difference is. I think if you just do a squared 5x5 dish wing versus a square 5x5 flat wing, I feel like they'd probably be relatively similar. I feel like
Uh-huh.
where where the issue becomes is, when back in the day they used to have like skewed boards, or they had like what they called a diamond wing where they moved the belly around and stuff, and that's where
Yeah.
you got into spending a lot of money on the wings. But I feel like if you keep everything square, you run square boards, you run square centers, and run a dish, it can't be any cost difference. Because I mean, I've talked to my wing builder at home, and I asked him what the difference between a dish wing and a flat wing is, and he told me it's the little triangle piece in the back is the only difference that he needs to change. So it's 4 pieces of
Yeah.
material that he needs to change out, and to me that's not any difference in cost.
Let's go to a question from James Shannon. Did you bring any merchandise over from the States?
Unfortunately, not this year. We didn't have
What?
a whole lot left, so it wasn't worth
That's good.
bringing all that stuff over. Just because we needed some stuff for the holidays if people ordered, but we still
Uh-huh.
have stuff online. So if you want to order stuff online,
Oh, perfect. Does Sean have merchandise here, like 95 car stuff?
I don't think he does now.
Okay.
I don't think he does. So yeah, we're merchandiseless this year,
Merchandise.
unfortunately.
All right. Holy crap. We've got a big one that covers us up. Jason Crow decides to just write a story. Brock, there were 14 sprint cars at practice on Wednesday night, and you looked fast, but so did everyone else. With more Americans this year and some of the best from the East Coast also coming to Perth, how confident are you of being on the podium? Also, how do you compare the competition you will be up against over the 9 nights in Perth against what you race against nightly in the States? I'm going to hide that so we can see.
I mean, obviously, I'm very confident that we'll be on the podium. Um,
Uh-huh.
you know, I feel like we could win every race, and we've done that before. We won all but one, I think, in that speed week that won the first year. So it's gonna be obviously more difficult this year with more Americans coming, and like
Uh-huh.
like I said earlier, everybody's just stepped their game up over here, and I feel like everybody's going to bring the best that they got. Obviously with Jock coming over, and some of the guys from the East Coast, it's
Yeah.
not going to be a cake. It's not going to be a cakewalk for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm confident that we can get the job done. But it's not going to be easy. It's going to have to go right. You're going to have to be in the right positions.
Mm-hmm.
You're just going to have to put your car in the right areas, and be up front. So it's doable, obviously, but and we have great equipment here with Sean's equipment, and Brenton and Kim and everybody else, working on the car. They all believe in our team. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to this speed week. It's going to be a good test, and hopefully we can click off some wins.
I'm sure you can, man. I'm looking forward to seeing how you go. There's so much intrigue this year. I think it's more just there's so much unknown. Here's a question that we can actually see ourselves still. Joel Calvert asks, "Hey Brock, what do you think about the high limit cockpit adjustable shock deal?"
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good idea. It doesn't cost much to do it. At the end of the day, you're either going to make yourself better or worse. So,
Mm-hmm.
us drivers, we're not really smart when we do that stuff. So I always say it's going to be like you go 4 clicks to the right, and that was really bad. So you go 8 clicks back to the left, and that should be better. So, yeah, no, I think it just adds a different, variable to adjust your car. I think one is good. I think once you start getting more like putting them on all 4 corners and stuff, I think it just kind of gets hairy. But I don't feel like that's a bad thing. I mean, we run adjustable shocks anyway, but we can't adjust them. So
Yeah.
um, I think it's a good idea. I was just actually, when I was at a PRI, I was looking at a non-wing car, and they were talking about their rule change went from 7 adjusters to 5, and I was like, how do you even, like, what are you even using 7 adjusters for? I'd be lost.
Yeah.
They had all
Yeah.
kinds of stuff. So yeah, it's just crazy, man. Um, I feel like that's just, it gets out of control at some point, but I feel like one isn't a bad thing.
Okay. Yeah, cool. Here's one that Kim Edwards brings up: is High Limits bringing their own chief steward? They are. Mike Hess is coming over. So I wonder, he did tell me it would be basically all Australian rules. I guess maybe that was in reference to the cars, but I wonder if the race starts or anything like that will be different for those few nights of racing with High Limits.
Yeah, I knew Mike was coming. I wasn't sure when he said that either, how that was going to be, if that was going to be, and obviously the Australian rules were Australian rules, but I didn't know how the starts were going to be. So,
Hmm.
yeah, I think it's going to be one of them deals where you find out on race day. So,
Yeah,
uh,
we'll find
one
out.
or the other, one or the other, either the Australians are going to be confused or the Americans are going to be confused. So either way, somebody's going to be confused in this whole deal. But it ain't going to be me.
It ain't gonna be you. We're all good. All right. We got a couple more questions, man. We've been going for over 45 minutes. I really appreciate you doing this.
Yeah, it's all good, man.
Um, and I'm sure the others do too. How do you rate the Perth Motorplex compared to tracks at home?
I think Perth Motorplex is one of the top racetracks in the world. That you can tell they put a lot of money and pride into it. Obviously,
Yeah.
being a government owned racetrack, it's a little easier for them to probably get some money to upgrade things, but
Hmm.
they do the right things, and it's
Yeah.
definitely one of the premier facilities. I rank it up there with Knoxville or Eldora, tracks like that. So they do a great job. It's a beautiful facility, and every time one of the Americans come over for the first time, they're just amazed by how good it is, how nice it is, and
Yeah.
with the grass pits and everything like that. So, yeah, it's definitely one of the top tier racetracks in the world.
Yeah, for sure. What's your favorite place back home? Like, what do you say? What would you say is the nicest place back home?
I don't know. There's obviously a few of them. I'm a big Port Royal guy. Obviously, I think Knoxville obviously is probably one of the best racetracks in the world too, but just because of the history that's there.
Yeah.
But like Eldora is obviously nice too, and there's a lot of good racetracks, and there's a lot of nice ones that we don't even go to. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of hidden gems in America that nobody really knows about that we don't get to race at, which we hopefully one day would. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, I mean it's yeah, obviously being in Pennsylvania, I'd say just seeing how Port Royal evolved over the years. They've put a lot of money and time into that place too, and it's grown into one of the nicer areas in the country as well.
What tracks have you raced at over east? Just Warrnambool, and where else have you raced at?
So we ran Mount Gambier and Avalon too. So we
You
did
like
that whole.
them?
Yeah, they're racetracks. I mean, obviously Avalon. I think the only time I raced Avalon, I don't even know if I raced there last year, but I know the one year we finished fourth or something there was when it rained and it was like really rough and kind of fun. But um, yeah, I mean, obviously they're fun. Every racetrack is fun to me. They all
Yeah.
have their different shapes and sizes and
Hmm.
different quirks to them, and I feel like it's fun figuring out how to get around there as fast as you can, and sometimes you got to figure out different areas on the racetrack, and sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad, but yeah, I just love racing, bud. I mean, it don't matter what racetrack it is, if it's a wheelbarrow or if it's a go-kart, whatever. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
here to race it.
Do you pay much attention to Australian racing, like Queensland, Toowoomba? Do you, like here in Sydney? Like, how much attention do you actually pay to what happens here?
I try to follow along. I mean, obviously being on different time zones, it kind of gets hard for me. But I mean, obviously, I keep up with on Facebook and stuff like that, or Sprint Car Hub, But
Yeah, that's what we
yeah,
want to hear.
so
Yeah.
yeah, I try to keep up with it, obviously, but watching live or anything like that, obviously that's hard to do. I'd rather get some sleep and watch it in the morning, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I try to keep up with any kind of racing. It's as busy as we are, it kind of just gives you something else to watch or look at, because it don't matter what we're doing. We could be at Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas, and I'm
Mhm.
trying to watch some kind of racing. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I try to keep up as much as I can.
Well, man, it's so cool to have you here. I really appreciate you giving us time. I really value that you're a down to earth guy and happy to chat and just be one of the guys and to answer all the fans' questions. This is why we do this, is to try to give that access to people. So what time's it there now? It's 10 to 8 here, so it's what's that, 10 to 5 over there. So go chill out. It's Friday night, man. It's like basically knockoff day, right? Like everyone finishes work it's a Friday. Everyone's finishing work. I feel like I'm just about to start for the next 6 weeks or so. So I imagine, was it Sean? What's that?
I said I got Jesus is out in the shed right now, so I can only imagine what he's doing right now.
Yeah. Well, no, man, go have some fun. I really appreciate you doing this. Thank you, and I guess good luck on Boxing Night. But I'll see you at the latest on the 28th.
All right, bud. Yeah, I appreciate what you do for everybody over here. I think it's really cool what you do, and I'm happy to always do something like this. Obviously, if I'm not sick, but yeah, I don't. Anytime you want to do something, just let me know, and we'll make it happen. So it's always good answering fans' questions. I like that you get them engaged, and it's important for that. So yeah, really enjoy what you do, bud, and I'll see you soon.
See you, buddy. Thank you.
Thanks.
There you go, guys. That was cool. He's such a good dude. I think everyone at times can get like a little starstruck or something when it comes to drivers and that. And the sooner you realize that they're all just normal dudes and good people, and Brock really is one of them. Ever since I've started doing this, he's been a supporter of mine, and certainly makes you feel comfortable when you're going around, traveling around to races. Whether it's here in Australia, on the other side of Australia, going to the States, or going over to Pennsylvania, which I find so intimidating because the races are so hardcore, the teams, the drivers, the fans, they're so into it. But if you guys have questions, we've been on for almost 53 minutes. There's about 120 people watching right now. If you have any questions before we finish up, I'd love to answer them. We got a heap on our Instagram last night that we didn't really I didn't get to all of them. There were ones about the Dyson number 99. Who's gonna drive that? I really don't know if that's ride's gonna get filled. We'll wait to find out, I guess, to see what they do there. But yeah, we got sent a bunch of questions over on Instagram, and I didn't get to answer them all. So would love to answer them. I got asked what races we're going to. I did answer that on our Instagram story. Make sure you follow us on Instagram if you haven't already. We're going to have a heap of stuff coming up. But we're going, we might go to Sydney on Boxing Day. I'm not sure. We'll go to the 3 high limit shows. So we fly out on the 27th, and we'll go to the high limit shows, fly back New Year's Eve, which is not the greatest New Year's Eve, but it's all work. So we're going to get back home and maybe go to Sydney after that. We'll see, maybe on the 1st. That'll be a bit tough, but make sure we make plenty of content from that. And then we will also, then I'll go to Lismore. I'm really excited for the 3 nights of the Red Hot Summer Shootout from the 10th to 12th of January. And then, what is it? I'm trying to think. Then we head back down south. We're here in Sydney. There's the 14th, 17th, and 18th. There's racing. Just got someone said thanks for the show. No problem, Andy. Appreciate that. After we finish in Sydney, then we go to we won't go to Warrnambool on the next day, which is the 19th, but we'll go to Avalon, Mount Gambier. We'll do the Classic. Cheers from Indiana. That's cool. Thanks, man. That's so cool that we reach people from all over. And then we will go to what's after Warrnambool? I know Tolma's on. Is there somewhere else? Is it Simpson or something? I can't remember. And then, so we'll go to Tolma on the 29th, and then it's Murray Bridge for the Australian Sprint Car Championship, which I'm really looking forward to. I don't know why, but there's just something about that event that I'm really looking forward to. Got a question here from Eric. We'll only stay on for a few more minutes if you've got questions. So, Eric, Toby, as an American, what Australian races should I keep an eye on and watch leading up to the high limit shows? Well, there is only one night of racing until the high limit shows, and that is Boxing Night, which is, you guys don't call it Boxing Day or Boxing Night, but that is the 26th, the day after the Christmas. and there's 6 tracks racing in Australia. I think Western Springs is in New Zealand, but there's Carrick, Toowoomba, Sydney, Perth, Murray Bridge, and Avalon are all racing, and they're all on Clay-per-view. As an American, you'll be able to watch on Clay-per-view. In Australia, Perth will be on 7+. I'm actually working on a video for everyone. There you go. Someone just said Portland is the Tuesday after the Classic. I was like, I didn't think it was Simpson, but it's Portland. So I'm not sure if we'll go to that or not. We'll see. That's on the Tuesday. I think we've got another video planned to do on Tuesday with someone. But yeah, I mean, if you're wanting to, in the lead up to the high limit shows, I suggest watching Perth on Clay-per-view, on Boxing Night, which will be the morning after Christmas. So on the 26th, very early in the morning, Perth will be on. So try and watch that. Danielle, she's been a big supporter for a long time. Thanks, Toby and Brock. Awesome work. Thank you. Appreciate you watching. Yeah. If you didn't know, Portland is on the Tuesday after the Classic and Bordertown is Wednesday. That's the 29th. So we'll be going to Bordertown. I hope you guys are all as excited as I am for what's going to be a massive, 2 months here. Kind of finishes up in Perth in mid-February. So appreciate all you guys joining us. Still over 100 people watching, I can see in total between our Facebook and our YouTube channel. So I'm just making sure we've gone through all of your questions. I'm pretty sure we have, when you travel to the West Coast. Just some questions. I think they were for Brock. But hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I think it was really cool that Brock answered some questions. It's someone that you probably don't hear enough from. So it was really cool that he came on and told us why he's changed his schedule up for next year and all about his Australian trip. So I really enjoy doing these live videos. I'm glad that a lot of you guys enjoy watching them. I don't have a graphic to put up, but if you're watching this right now, I'll give you a little bit of a scoop. We are talking with Rico Abreu again on Monday night at the same time. So in 3 days' time, we'll be chatting with Rico Abreu again, so you guys can ask him questions. That was a lot of fun when we did it around this time last year. So Rico's always very good like that. Loves chatting with his fans. So we're going to have him on in 3 days' time. That'll be the 23rd, Monday, the 23rd of December at 7 p.m. Sydney time, 4 p.m. Perth time. Is Kyle Larson bringing his crew guys? He is bringing one guy, Trevor, that works for Paul Silver. He'll be coming over. That's as far as I've been told. John Brown, we enjoyed that. Have a great Xmas, mate. Thank you, John. Yourself too. Have a great Christmas. Since I'm stuck in a studio here, I don't feel like I'm really in the Christmas spirit right now, but only a few days to go, and then we get right into racing. So, all right, we are over 59 minutes. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. I really hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for the support of Sprint Car Hub. If you haven't already, we've got merchandise that we've just launched over on sprintcarhub.com. Our hats, we've got shirts, we've got beanies, we've got our drink bottles, which I love, and anyone who has one of these absolutely loves it too. We've got stickers, and we've got more coming soon. If it's sold out, it's most likely not coming back. So we know a lot of sizes have already gone. So thank you, everyone that's watched. Enjoy your Christmas, and I will see you all at a racetrack soon. Thanks.